Go ahead.
Are we carrying our own bases to the game, soft or rubber?
Yes.
Which
All teams provide the baseballs and the bases.
And
Wait,
the
say
bases,
that again?
Obviously, so the umpires don't carry any equipment with them at all.
Yeah.
So each team provides baseballs, bases, et cetera, et cetera.
are they the soft bases, the paddles, or the hard plastic rubber ones?
We'll go through that.
Yes.
We'll go through that. We'll let you guys know all. Anything dealing with the equipment stuff, we'll let you do. He's just basic, Matt just said basic going over the rules that you need to understand. But anything about how long the game, are you gonna have makeups and all that stuff, that's left up to us. That's left up to me. So, and we'll work that out with the ADs.
So anything that involves like rules or umpires, that's me. But anything that involves like bigger picture stuff, like makeup games or like where you're on the standings, all that stuff, that's all CO athletics, and I don't touch that as an umpire.
Yeah, once it gets between the lines, and that's his baby. If you're outside the lines, that's me.
So besides helmets, are you checking like for cups or cleats or anything?
We don't. We don't, but
No cup checks, no cup
Because I'm
checks.
a cup check.
I don't know. I'm a soccer coach, so.
Hopefully you guys wear them and it's all there, but there's no like official cup checks.
And then there are no metal cleats allowed,
No
right?
metal cleats.
And the best thing I always tell the kids, or the coaches, have them get the little multi-purpose spikes, little rubber things that they got multi spikes on it, and it's easy to keep track. They don't fall. It gets good traction. All right.
So they can wear soccer cleats, that's not a problem?
As long as they're
You
not
wouldn't want
metal.
to soccer cleats in baseball.
No soccer cleats?
No, you don't make it in the diamond,
No.
they got.
No, you can't.
Our athletic director said you could wear.
You could wear
for
soccer.
Fourth grade, she said we could wear soccer cleats.
Soccer,
You
can wear any cleat,
Yeah.
shorter the better.
Yeah.
The reality is, whether it's a soccer or a lacrosse, whatever cleat, but they can't be metal.
Right.
The recommendation is shorter, but don't have your kids go out and, like he said, go buy a whole bunch of other shoes.
Yeah.
Just, one cleat is fine.
Yeah.
They can
Big
wear the
Five
soccer
used to have a
cleats.
pretty good all-purpose spike, rubber
Yeah,
spike.
Yeah,
And multi-purpose. It was great, used for all.
yeah,
And it was mesh,
yeah.
so you can throw the one machine. Okay. Anything else?
No.
No, I just wanted to
All right.
make sure I.
Have a seat.
Well, hold on, sorry, take
Is there a limit to how many coaches you can have on the field?
Go ahead.
Is there a limit to how many coaches you can have on the field?
So it's just basically once the game starts, then it's just the first base and the third base coach.
That's for when you're on offense. On defense, you want to stay in the dugout.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there a limit to how many you can have in the dugout?
Two.
Two in the dugout.
If there's any more, I'll let you know. Right now, the standard has always been 2. I think, did it go up to 3 or 4 the last time you were out there?
As long as they're in the dugout. But,
Yeah. But the umpire's gonna let you know. If you're out of order, the umpire will let you know.
Okay.
So you can't have more umpires than you do kids. And you can't have you can't have more coaches than do kids, and each kid does not have their own individual coach. So moms and pops, make sure they stay out of there.
Yeah.
All right?
Okay, sounds good. We'll have a great
Thank
season
you.
and then hopefully
See you out
everything will
there.
go well. See you
All
out
right,
there.
so-
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. All right, so if you see this or anything like this, is that your logo?
That's us, that's it.
That says the National Academy of Athletics. Aaron Locke is our guy. He's gonna be here tonight and go over some things you need to know. Some of the stuff you asked Matt, he's got the answer for. He's been doing this for,
Train half decades.
yeah. And I think he does every sport. Every sport? Every sport. All right. All right, so give me a hand for Aaron. Thank you.
All right, so by rule, because I like to follow rules, I actually am kind of a rules guy, but I want to check and make sure comfort level for you guys in terms of where I'm at, because to be able to hear and whatnot, if I back up and take my mask off, are we good? If anybody's not, let me know, because I've done this just once or twice. It's nice to be in a smaller venue than some of the bigger places that we dig into, and we can get into it, and I can actually answer your questions as we go forward with it, okay? If you decide that I'm really boring and want to have a conversation, my ego is big enough, that's totally cool. Just don't be loud enough that it bugs her from hearing what I got to say, because she may actually care what we got going on, right? Like he said, so my name is Aaron Locks. This is my 36th year working in youth sports. I grew up in Mill Valley, right across the bridge. In fact, I was on my way over, I got to have dinner, or early dinner with my mom, who was 88, still lives in the same house where I grew up, so really cool. What I'm gonna do tonight, from here at the National Academy of Athletics, is do everything I can to help you guys to have a positive experience, right? And that's the goal. Now, that being said, we're gonna have to have some real honest conversation, because we just spent a half hour going over rules, and I'm more confused than I've ever been. So I'm gonna be honest, and I've been around the game a long time, right? So I'm thinking what we're gonna wanna do is to get some clarity, because there's also 60 other coaches that aren't here. So whatever was said here is all great for you, but you're gonna go to the game, and I guarantee you, you're gonna walk in and something's gonna be different. So we're gonna talk about that, all right? So let me just first off and basically just say, I'll give you a quick background so you know who is this guy, where does he come from. My dad left when I was 3, starting kind of early, right? At 7, I was the biggest sissy in Marin County. I was that kid. If we played a game, I would hit the board and knock it over, and I'd cry. I had 3 older sisters. We were hippie kids. You get the picture, right? Imagine the hand-me-downs I was living with back then, right? But my mom got fed up, so she put me in the car, and she drove me to Mill Valley Middle School, where the Little League was practicing, and she said, "Hop out, buddy." And coach came up, and she goes, "There's your coach, I'll be back in an hour," and she drove away. And that's how I got introduced to youth sports. So here I go, I'm walking up, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? There's Coach Islas, and he put a purple hat with an S, and a white shirt with purple sleeves over me that said SEALs, and I was on the SEALs, right? And then within about 10 minutes, guess what? They're throwing the ball at me, I'm at bat. So my first at bat, I don't even think I'd ever held a baseball bat before. How do you think I did?
Awesome, man.
Yeah. I'd love to tell you the story when, right? Here's the reality. First, once I figured out which hand to hold, which I'm sure you guys will deal with, and realized you put your hands together, and I started to line it up, here we go. So he threw pitch, swing and miss, pitch, swing and miss, pitch, swing and miss. I got so fed up, I threw my helmet down, the bat down, and started balling. And I hear this voice from the side, "Are you kidding me? That's unacceptable." And I froze, because no one had ever talked to me that way in my life. So I kind of went, "What?" He comes over and grabs me by the back of the shirt, which you can't do because of your lawsuit. Said, "Pick it up right now." So I picked up the helmet, picked up the bat. I'm sure I was a snotty mess crying, just wreck, right? 7.5 years old. Walks me to the dugout. He says, the helmet goes there, the bat goes there, and your backside goes there. So now I sit down, he gets a knee in front of me and says, "What's the matter, dude?" And I go, "What's the matter? I suck at baseball. I can't do this." And he says, "Can't do this?" Well, hold on a second. Who's your favorite player? So again, this is 1970, 71 in Mill Valley. Willie Mays. That's the only name I knew, right? He goes, "Willie Mays? Hold on a second. Don't you realize Willie Mays gets out 7 out of 10 times?" I didn't know that. And didn't you realize he strikes out half the times he gets out? I didn't know that. So why your first time playing, are you going to be better than Willie Mays? That was 50 years ago. I still remember that like it was yesterday. In fact, guess who I watched the Super Bowl with? Guess who I go and take the Giants games? Coach Islas. He's 82, lives up in Petaluma, right? I'm like his stepson or whatever it is. To get that kind of connection, that's why I do what I do. Because you're all going to have that opportunity to give that kind of experience to these kids. It all started right then. So I was very blessed. I got to play 3 sports in high school. I got to play a little college basketball. I left to go work for a guy named John Wooden. You may or may not know the name. Some don't. Legendary basketball coach out of UCLA. I was his demonstrator. Got to work for him. Then I got to work for the Lakers and then the Warriors. I did some work with Dusty Baker. I was the umpire of the Giants television commercial. I've never really had a day job, right? I've just kind of worked in sports my whole life. Very blessed. I refereed high school all the way through college. I worked for the West Coast Conference. And like I said, I've just kind of had a real fun journey. So what I also have done is raised 2 kids that have played multiple sports all the way through. And my daughter, in fact, tomorrow night is her senior banquet for basketball, and then my journey's over. So for those of you, this is your first run and the kids are starting, it goes fast, right? So make sure we enjoy the journey. My goal tonight is to break down everything in here. Yes, I brought my Coach's Best Friend book, Amazon bestseller, blah, blah, blah. If you want, we'll get you a copy, we'll work it out. But more so, I want to give you and help you, because we got to make sure that we're on the same page, because right now our kids are facing an epidemic that has nothing to do with the pandemic. And it's really a struggle. So let me just kind of back up a little bit. Does anybody know the Aspen Institute? Maybe a little. They're one of the foremost groups in studying what's going on with athletics and kids and health and all that. So I get to do some talks with them and get involved with some stuff. 2 years ago, there was a study that said 78% of what your kids have every day, what they hear, is a direction or a correction. Now think about this. What's your son or daughter's name?
Caden.
Caden. Caden, time to get up, buddy. Caden, time to get breakfast. Caden, good job. Rinse your bowl out, buddy. Okay, let's go. Get dressed. Time to get ready for school. Caden, where's your other shoe? Caden, don't forget your backpack. Caden, it's raining outside. Where's your jacket, buddy? Let's go. Come on, we get to school. Caden, buckle up. All right, when you get to school, do a good job at school. Love you, buddy. I'll see you after school. Great. Caden, sit there in English. Show, right? Double space. In math, do your work. Show your work. Follow up. After school. All right, hurry up, buddy. We got baseball practice. We got to get your sister to piano lessons. Now we pick them both up after. In my house, we're getting food on the way home. Your house, you probably go home and you got a nice meal, and then we got homework, and then we got bath time, and then we got to go to bed. When the heck do they get to be a kid? So if our kids between the ages of 4 and 14 are hearing directions and corrections every single day, how do they learn to improvise, to adapt, to grow, to overcome, to be leaders, which is what we need? Got an answer? I do. Play sports. There is no better, in my opinion, life skill teaching tool than what you're about to do. Youth sports teaches them so many different values that you didn't realize that, wait a second, you're going to make this happen, right? So here's the deal. The one word that I want you to put in your vocabulary this season, you might even want to write it down, is one that most parents are afraid of. You know what it is? Failure. We're afraid to let our kids fail. Why is it that we're directing and correcting in all these different factors? Is because as a society, we're afraid that our kids are going to fail. But believe it or not, the more they fail, the more they learn how to get back up, the more they'll have a chance of succeeding after they're done playing sports. Okay? The second part that I want you to understand is that some of us right now are dreaming of our kids playing at USF or getting a college scholarship or playing in Major League Baseball. So just so we're clear, of the kids that sign up to play CYO baseball in San Francisco, 0.001% will get a college athletic scholarship. Just so we're clear, right? 6% of those will play high school varsity. 2% will play beyond high school. Make sense? So here's the deal. Let's put that crud out of the way and realize that here's the other factor that you're going to be faced with. What age are you coaching?
5th grade.
Fifth grade. What's your son's name?
Connor.
Connor. Hey, Connor's a stud player. In fact, you know what I was thinking? Connor should get in my program. And don't worry, it's only $1,200 a month. But we'll get him going. We'll get him on a nutrition program first thing in the morning. Get him on weights, right? Jumping rope. He work on his speed, hand-eye coordination, juggling. We'll get him going. We'll get a trainer on him and this and that. Well, I got you covered because we're going to get him a college scholarship. He's got a shot. At that age, man, we can definitely happen. Okay, you signing up? That's great. By the way, I don't want him to play any other sports because we got to focus. We got to lock in and do this, all right? Are you in? Please say no. Not to me, to everybody, because they're selling that crap and it's all a lie. And it's one of the reasons why that 6 out of every 10 kids quit playing baseball, basketball, football, soccer, volleyball, whatever it is, after just 2 seasons. It's not fun anymore. It's too much pressure to win and be successful. And by the way, baseball for little kids is the most boring sport out there. So guess what you get to do? Make it fun. And that's what we're going to talk about. Fair enough? Okay, I'm off the soapbox. Let's talk baseball. Inside the handbook I put together for you guys here, this book is basically understanding, and I want questions. I want to know what I can do to help you to make this journey better. What is your job as a coach? Let me ask you first, how many of you are teachers? Come on, this may take a while, but how many of you are teachers? Raise your hand if you're a teacher. We'll wait a while. It'll click in a second. How many of you are teachers? All of you, because you're coaching, and you got to teach them. And you know what? You don't just got to teach them how to get down in stance to receive a ground ball. You got to teach them how to tie their shoes. Right? There's a lot of teaching you're going to be doing. Okay? It takes a village to do this, but understand your role. Do you know what CYO's #1 goal is this season? Anybody? Have fun would be one of them, but as of 3 years ago, it shifted. Safety, #1. That's why everybody's wearing helmets and masks and all the other things we got to do. After safety, their #1 goal is that you do such a good job and they have so much fun, they get a chance to learn how to do this thing that they want to play again next season. Mission accomplished. Now, if you notice in that mission, you know what's not there? Just win, baby! Right? But we know how important it is to teach them to compete. So how do we find that balance? That's where you're going to have a really, really clear understanding on a couple of things. The first thing is going to be this. Understanding what is your definition of success. So this season, what is your definition of success?
Getting kids out there and exercising, you know?
Okay, if they're out there exercising, moving their bodies, you've had a successful season. How about you? What is your definition of success?
Every kid shows up looking to have a fun, good time.
They show up and they want to play and have fun.
Showing up and want to be there.
All right, how about you, Coach?
Agreed. Have fun, show up, get some exercise, enjoy themselves, learn a little bit too.
So learn, right? So basically, I get it. So back you guys are talking about the rules. So I'm assuming you want to win the championship.
Sure.
Just win, baby. Come on, let's do this. We got to win, because that is an important part. Those that know me, I'm a little competitive. If you want to play me chess, I'm gonna try to kick your butt. And we're over. We'll give a little fist bump or whatever we're allowed to do at these days and days, and then we'll try something else, right? Fair enough. But if they don't learn to compete, then we have a challenge. So wait a second. What is Aaron saying? He's saying have fun, right, and learn skills, but also over here we got to compete. What the heck? How do I do that, right? Well, I'm going to teach you a little formula, okay? We'll go through it. But understand, your job is to do a couple of things. One is to help these kids have such a positive experience they want to keep doing it. That's through organization and structure. Believe it or not, kids love boundaries. They love knowing that's where I need to be. They know the rules because then they can do it. And I guarantee you, especially as they get a little older, guess what they're going to do? They're going to test those rules. And that's what they're supposed to do. That's what they're supposed to do as they go forward, okay? The three-pronged approach is the best way that I've found, and I developed this about 15 years ago as my kids were kind of coming through it. And then I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with my kids now? My son was 4, and I'm like, all right, he's about to start. How does it go? If you can get the players, the coaches, and the parents all on the same page, this journey is amazing. But if you leave one out, we got a problem. Understand this. As a coach, you just told me your goals. And I'm going to believe that we're all on the same page in this room, right? We want to teach them to compete and have fun and learn this and that. The parents' goals are a little bit different, right? Maybe they're a little different. You know how I know they're different? Because you're telling the kid to hit the cutoff, right? That's what they're supposed to do. And dad's over here going, throw it home! Get him home! Get him home! Right? Because their goal is for the kid to make the play. That's what they're supposed to do, right? But they're not in the position and they're not understanding it. So what we have to do is find a way to communicate with the parents so we're all on the same page. Because the #1 challenge in youth sports has nothing to do with kids. Right? It has to do with those people that drive them to their games. So your job, in my opinion, as soon as possible, is to engage them. How many of you have either done so or have like a letter that you send to introduce yourself to the parents of your kid? Good for you. If you don't have one, my email is in here. Email me and I'll send you ours. It's great. It's a Word document and you can edit it however you like. And it basically says, hi, my name's Aaron. I work in the city. I played ball 15 years ago. Haven't touched baseball since, but no one else would coach, so I stepped up, and here we go. And we're going to have a fun season, and here's our goals, and this is kind of my rules, and blah, 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 and that's how we're going to do it. By the way, I'm a real estate agent. If you look at my house, let me know. I'll take care of it, right? So whatever it is, but open lines of communication. Now, when that happens, you also have to understand, as you set the tone, you as a coach control when, where, and how long any conversation lasts. Sound familiar? Right? You're in charge. And if you assert that, you're going to be in good shape. If you don't, there's gonna be problems, okay? That means that while you're herding cats trying to get them ready for the game, but my son should play shortstop and that, stop the insanity. No, thank you, I don't have time for that. But I'm telling you right now, if you don't reference it in advance, it's coming for you. They're gonna come with those questions. I love green tea, so I'll tell you what, you wanna talk baseball? You meet me at the Starbucks closest wherever, we can sit down, green tea latte, we can chop it up. But we will not have that first conversation, particularly about your son, in front of them. That will not happen. Why? Because sometimes those conversations go sideways. Fair enough? It's your job to set the role, set the rules, set the boundaries so they understand what we're trying to do. Fair enough? Okay. So, communicate, communicate, communicate. I use what's called the 4 agreements. That's how I run my entire life. I highly suggest that you guys look up the 4 agreements and implement that with your team because it's spectacular, right? Be impeccable with your word. Don't make assumptions. Don't take it personal, and always do your best. If you have those 4 agreements with your parents and your kids, this thing's pretty easy. Okay? All right. Keeping the perspective. Part of this I just put in as a reminder, like the information, but like I said, think about your process that you're going to go through with your perspective and understand that our goals are to teach and all those things we talked about. Guess what the goals are for these kids? Have fun, baby. I want to socialize with the kids that I haven't been able to be with for so long, and I want to play. So as we talk about practice structure, which I'll get into in a little bit, you're probably going to have to spend some time breaking down with them a little bit and giving them time to just play, to just have fun. It's going to be a part of the process, okay? Part of what I want you to be able to do is to communicate to the kids in such a way that they understand, but if you can do it so that the parents understand as well, then we can take this thing off. I'll give you an example. So my daughter, she's actually a pretty good little athlete. Her name's Mia. And she was a little, she drove, both my kids threw right and bat left. Their mom was a really good softball player, and they kind of picked it up. You know, we could do this a little bit. But, so here's how it started. So I wanted Mia to wait until she was 8 years old to play because I felt that baseball is kind of a slow sport. So she got into softball when she was 8. She went out there and she'd been around so much, she had a little brother, they put her on the 9-year-old team right away. Now I'm a little hesitant because I'd rather have my kids play down and have fun than play up and go, uh-oh, we're done, right? Because you got one shot at this. Once you mess it up, they're not coming back. Now I'm not saying to get your kids out of there, I'm just saying be aware, right? Be aware. So my daughter goes up to the team, they're practicing, and of course I'm watching, because you're coaching my daughter, so guess what I'm doing? Yeah, I'm watching you, sucker, right? That's my daughter. Right? Okay, so we get on, and now Mia is going to be the first batter of the season, right? No, I don't mean just the first batter of the season. I mean literally opening day, let the balloons go, God bless America, now batting Mia Locks. The entire league is there, and she's by the way, her first time ever swinging and dealing with live pitching. No pressure, right? So coach says, hey Mia, when you get up there, take the first pitch. What does that mean?
Don't swing.
Don't swing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. See, take the first pitch means don't swing. Cool. Dad, who's sitting over listening to coach and has watched a couple practices, got it. Coach said, don't swing, take a pitch. I said, you got this, Mia. Have fun, baby. That's all I said. Mom, sitting over here, says, hey, Mia, just like I taught you, right? High elbow, follow through, drive it, pick that pitch, you got this, and hit it hard. Not bad, right? Good advice. First pitch comes in, and it is a perfect watermelon strike right down the center. What do you think my daughter did? No, she's been taught. Coach knows what's going on. So she didn't swing. So guess what coach says? Great job, Mia. Now you're ready. You got this. Dad says, great job, Mia. Now you got this. Mom says, what happened, honey? It was perfect. Right? So again, this is where it breaks down because my daughter, her first at bat ever, had to make a decision between the coach who's supposed to know what's going on and the mom that feeds her. So the more you can communicate what you're trying to do and help the parents understand, the better chance you got of success. Not only that, as we start to learn the language of the sport and you're teaching it, it helps to send that home with the kids, because then it's reinforcing. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys get 6 weeks practices, 4 days a week for 2 hours of special training before your first game, right? Yeah, no, right? You're out there for 2 hours and all of a sudden, let's go, baby, right? So you're not gonna get a lot of training, so what that means is you're gonna have to give them homework to go home and practice on how to hold the ball, how to get in fundamental stance and things like that. I'll give you some drills in a minute, okay? I hope I'm not losing you. What I'm trying to make sure is that as you set up this season, it's my recommendation is I know that you're gonna need the parents' help. What I want you to learn to do is take the parents from stumbling blocks into stepping stones to make it a better season. Now, I'm not saying step on the parents. That's not what I said, right? But I am saying embrace that because they can help you. They should be playing catch with their child ongoing, okay? All right.
Why would you say, just let the ball go? Or you're just
Great question. He wanted her to see what it was like, live pitching, to get comfortable in the batter's box before she swung. And I think it was a great philosophy, right?
I don't.
I use that with myself too.
What's that?
I use that with my kids too. I tell them, we never take the first pitch.
Okay.
We want the pressure on the pitcher, we want to see what they're doing, never take the first
Great.
pitch.
So I would be very careful in youth sports of speaking in absolutes.
Yep.
However, some coaches believe it's a great strategy and philosophy. But again, if everybody takes the first pitch and the pitcher really doesn't have that good of a chance to get over the plate, you guys are going to be done before dark and you got 3 innings in. So there are some challenges which we're going to talk about. Remember your question. But the bottom line is you're teaching them to have a discerning eye as to what a strike is and what it's not. And also understand, guess what? There's going to be a whole lot of pitches that aren't even going to be close. They're going to get hauled strikes. And you know why? Because otherwise this thing is going to take forever. So understand there's a lot of it. And some of those are going to be because you're pitching them, which we'll talk about how to do that, okay? Today's kids are different. Understand, I used to walk uphill in both directions in the snow in Mill Valley when I was a kid. Our kids don't do that. They don't get to learn to invent and figure these things out. So when my coach said run through the wall, we ran through the wall. If you said run through the wall, they're going to say, wait, that's going to hurt. And by the way, my dad's a lawyer. So you have to understand, you're going to have to find ways to motivate the kids. In my opinion, it's through energy. As you can tell, I bring a little something, it's just like this battery, and I'm rolling, right? And that's where it is. When I'm done coaching whatever sport, I'm exhausted. I need water, I'm done. Because they feed off your energy, and you have a slow sport. So if you go out there and think, oh, today, well, maybe we'll do a little this, and we'll do some throwing and that, they're done. So in my opinion, go out there, have the cones, set them up, get them going quick, and I'll talk to you about how to do that in a minute, okay? I know a lot of this has been philosophy, but I think it's very important to help you out. How many of you coach your own child? Love it. That's great news. And it's also one of the biggest challenges you're going to face. So I'm blessed. Both my kids, likely, mostly, right? They still kind of are okay. So here's what I'm going to recommend. I'm going to give you 3 things I think can help you out. Number 1, if you and I are coaching together, you will be the director and corrector of my child during practice. I'll give positive feedback to my son, but I'm not directing and correcting during practice. That's your job. I might say, hey, get on Mason because of this, but that's the conversation. Fair enough? And I'll do the same for you. Because the relationship off the field is extremely much more valuable, but you have to understand they have to know the boundaries of it. By the way, what's your name?
Todd.
Yeah, so when you're coaching, you're actually Coach Todd, right? All of us. So when you're coaching, I'm Coach Todd. Why? There used to be immediate respect for police, fire, military, teachers. We got to get that back. One of those things is you're a coach, so they have to give you that respect. So part of that is then you're Coach Todd and I'm Coach Aaron. That's great. So what's going on? Hey, you're going to have to ask Coach Todd. My son asked Coach Todd, blah, blah. That's the communication they have to get. Set those boundaries, build them up. The respect will come from that, okay? All right. Coaching your own child. Besides that, what I did is, and this is going to drive you nuts, but some of us in this room this year, we're going to be driving our kid to the game, and we're going to be telling them, okay, son, when it this, I want you to follow up, and I want you to hit your cutoff, and I want you to make sure you swing and follow through, and I want you to pitch, and I want you, and I want you, and I want you, and the kids in the back going, dude, I don't even want to do this. So my recommendation, when you get in the car, shut up. If they want to talk about it, cool, And if not, put the music on and just roll. Because you're just dad. You're just mom. When you get out of the car and you put the coaching hat on, now you're Coach Aaron. Does that make sense? Because we're going to give them so much, you're going to want to, and it's going to be tough. Okay? Now, during the game, I don't care if your son or daughter is the best one. My son happened to be one of those athletes. He's that kid that whatever he does, he can just do. Right? First time playing tennis, he's like, what? Right? Whatever it is, he's just that kid. Good for him, but tough to coach him. So when he gets out there, guess what I didn't do? I didn't make sure that he started every game. I didn't make sure that he batted in the first 3 or 4 every game. I didn't make sure that he didn't pitch or play shortstop all the time, right? I moved him around and I explained to him, hey, buddy, for everybody on the team, because otherwise it's all about you. We've all seen it. They call it daddy ball or mommy ball, and he's just taking care of his kid. Now, let me be honest. Your child has an advantage. It's not an unfair advantage. It's an advantage because they're your child and they know, and you're going to be able to work with them and play catch with them and do things, right? And that's important to have that. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you're not careful with that relationship, they're going to be one of those that quit after just 2 seasons. And the relationship with coaching your child and what you get to do is one of the best things ever. It's unbelievable. Now, how many of you have seen the Volkswagen commercial where it played in the Super Bowl 3 years ago, where the dad's playing catch with his son, and the son throws the ball, and it might be the ugliest throw you've ever seen. He stepped with the wrong foot, and he throws it, and the ball goes underneath the Volkswagen, and dad says, hey, nice job, buddy. Way to throw the ball. Good job. And I'm thinking, okay. Dad goes around and gets the ball into the Volkswagen, comes out the other side, and says, way to point your elbow and follow through. And dad throws it the exact same way the kid did. Right? Oops. If you throw like that, don't play catch with your kids. You think I'm joking, but I'm serious about this. Be careful, because they're going to watch you. When I teach shooting, and in basketball, I could shoot a little bit, right? But the deal is, when I teach shooting, I don't shoot. Why? Because they're more concerned whether it goes in or not, and I might miss one. So what I do is I just teach the form, just like you're going to teach the throwing, without actually throwing the ball. Make sense? Because they're going to look at it based on success, and you have to base it on effort. See, Coach Wooden taught me only through the proper effort and enough of it does the desired result appear in anything in life. It goes for sports as well. So part of what you're going to have to do with your own child when you play catch with them, one of the famous things that's funny, I was talking to my mom about it today, and it just, my mom was athletic when she was younger, but she was kind of a hippie mom. She was a self-employed artist in Mill Valley with 5 kids as a single mom, right? So what she would do, and I remember this, I had a backpack, I'd put my basketball in the back, and she'd walk me to hold my hand, we would talk, she'd walk me down to the elementary school, she would stand there, and I remember in her flowing dress or whatever it was, and I would shoot, and she would run barefoot and get the ball and just pass it back to me. And I can honestly tell you, that's some of the best memory I ever had with my mom, just her and I. And you know what? Not one time did she ever say, get your elbow in, follow through, not once. She was just there being with me. So remember this lesson, right? 57, 88 in the relationship. You want that relationship with your kids to last. The last thing I'll tell you that I do, which is post-game, is very important. I gave my kids 3 things. So remember now, as I'm coming up, I got 2. I'm a single dad, right? So I got my 10 and my 8-year-old, or my 9 and 11-year-old. I'm like, okay, what are we going to do? So the game's over. We get in the car. We're ready to roll out. And I'd say, whoever just played gets the pick if they sit in the front seat or the back seat, right? Now my son, if he just played and thought he played well, he'd sit in the front seat because he's cool, roll the window down. And if he thought he didn't play well, he'd sit in the back seat, which is a great clue to me that what he was thinking. My daughter, being the younger one, always wanted to sit in the front seat because she knew it pissed her brother off, right? Because that's what they do. Second thing is, they got to pick what radio station or music we listened to. So my daughter liked country, so we put the country on, we're doing our thing. My son liked rap, it was a short drive, we got through it and got to the next thing, right? And then they also got to pick where we go to get the smoothie or the lunch or whatever it is. I'm giving them the power back. We're not talking sports, I just give them back. They're my kids again, let's go, right? And I can remember when this hit home to me, amazing. We were all the way up in Cloverdale. We finished the basketball game, the CYO basketball game up there, and my daughter wanted to go to Applebee's. She just finished the game, and we lost the game. She goes, go to Applebee's. I go, great. We sit down at Applebee's. Before we can even order, she's pulling out the sugar packets, the pink and white sugar packets, putting them on the table, showing me the defense that they were playing and what we could have done different on the offense. Man, that's what you want, right? You want them bringing it to you. Oh, that's a great idea. Now we're engaged. So my recommendation is find a ritual for when you're going there and when you're coming back that you can share with your kids that are based on not the game, not what they just did. Because remember, that relationship is so, so valuable. All right? Okay, I want to press pause for a second. Give me one thing you've heard tonight that is something that's going to stick with you. You're like, yeah, put it in your book.
Setting them up for future success.
Like it. How about you? One thing.
Basically just how to communicate with kids in the modern age.
Got it. How about you?
I think it's more about effort than results.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
The difference between coaching and parenting.
Yeah. Yeah. Although I'll tell you what, some really good coaches make really good parents. It changed the way I did. When I started coaching my kids, it changed a lot of things. I kind of went, ooh, I can do that. I'll give you an example. How many of you have had your child go to play a game and they forgot a shin guard or a cleat or a helmet or whatever it is, right? Okay. Well, who hasn't, right? So here's a tip, right? Here's what I give you. What I do is I have them lay out their entire baseball uniform for practice and their entire stuff for games. And we get a bag. We take a picture of practice and a picture of game. We blow it up, and we put it on the back of the bedroom door. And the night before we have a practice or a game, they get their stuff out themselves. Remember, I'm done with the extra directions and corrections. They put all their stuff out, lay it out, and when the cleat's missing, we go find the darn thing the night before, taking the stress away from it. Everything's laid out, and we go, okay, great. And then we got it together. All right, what are you looking forward to the game tomorrow? What's the one thing that you're excited about the game tomorrow? Before bed, the night before. They got their gear ready. I put it in the car, so we're 100% ready. You're excited about it. Now we're giving them this positive affirmation, positive excitement, and we're ready, for God's sake. Less stress, okay? So, in fact, I would probably tell all my parents on my team to do that. All right. Stay away from pressure. How you communicate is going to be very important. Teaching we talked about. Make sure that you manage the time, because you're going to go out there thinking you got practice, and you get them all set up, and finally everybody shows up, and then all of a sudden, oh my goodness, I've only got 40 minutes left. It's going to happen fast, okay? Teaching points. Make sure that you're clear on what you want to teach them. Very, very important. Movement. Keep them moving from venue to venue. Even if you're teaching at the same park, put them at first base doing some drills, then behind the plate, and then out in the outfield, because you're changing their mindsets and the way they're thinking about it rather than this slow sport. And I'm going to teach you how I move them around that can help them out. Okay? Combine skills and drills if you can. Coach Wooden is a master at it. You would have 4, 5, 6. Dusty Baker did a great job. I was an umpire in the San Francisco Giants television commercials, 2010, 11, 12, and 13. I guess I have a face for a mask, right? I had a good time hanging out with them, and I learned a lot. But I was watching Brandon Crawford out there, and he'd be taking ground balls, and he'd have a guy just, going through it, and just muscle memory, over and over and over again. But to be able to combine that and then throw it and then backpedal and catch it, and that's not going to happen in a game. But like you said, right? It's the skills, it's the drills, it's practice. So when it does happen, he's fully prepared, right? A lot of fun to watch. Consistent terms when teaching. Is it the first base line, third base line? I'll bet you half your kids, because they haven't played, they don't know when you say first base or left field, they're not sure where to go. You might want to print out a chart off of the internet or email me and I'll send you one of ours and say, here's where shortstop is, so they know, and send it to them and let the parents know too, and they're communicating. When a parent gets this as homework to do with their kids, they get a chance to work together on it. It actually bonds them up around the game, and now they're using your language, which is what we want. One of the things that I did that I really, really thought was pretty cool is every league that we run. So we're in over 140 cities. We did about 12,000 kids last summer. So what I've done is I've made it mandatory that my coaches that run our leagues have a practice plan, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And what they did is when they get out of the car, you take the kids and you start to warm them up, because you're the assistant coach, and you're the head coach, and you stand with the parents and say, hey parents, real quick, this is what we're gonna work on today. We're gonna focus on this, this, and this. We'll make sure we're good to go. You guys got any questions? All right, we'll see you after practice. Now, how many complaints do you think we get in terms of structure and organization and that? Now, these are, of course, paid staff that work for me. We don't have problems, because they know what's coming. But why can't you guys do the same thing? Have your practice plan be ready to go, okay? And make it easy for you. Teaching cycle. So I got this trademark. It's called Talk, Teach, Play, and it's my gift to you. Talk, Teach, Play is what I started about 9 years ago, really honing in, because I realized that these kids are different and their attention spans is like herding cats, right? So how are we going to do this? So nothing that we run through the National Academy of Athletics, nothing that you should run for you guys should last longer than 15 minutes. Nothing, unless it's a game. Here's why. Because after 15 minutes, they're cooked. And if they still want it, that's great. Do something else. And by the way, if you come back and you work hard at this, guess what? We'll go back and do that again and reward them. But if not, it becomes ordinary. It becomes normal. And then it becomes boring. So 366 is 3 minutes of verbal instruction. That means talk less, play more. Shut up, coach. Right? Here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to do it. Here's when we're going to do it. And here's why we're going to do it. Okay, you understand? We throw the ball. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to play catch. Great, let's go do it. Then the next 6 minutes is the skills. Teaching, directions, and corrections. Helping them to improve their skill. Then the last 6 minutes, and this is where, in my belief, most of us as coaches screw up. Because we don't let them play. And we suck the life of the game out of them. How many of you have gone or played for a coach that said, all right, we've done the work, and this is now, okay, it's time to play, it's time to scrimmage. And you get out there, and all of a sudden, one kid throws the ball in the wrong place, or the kid doesn't do what he's supposed to do, and they do what? Oh, man, this is it. Come on, we got to go back and do the drills again. That's not fair. You made an agreement that if they listen and learn, if they work hard, that they get to play. And by the way, when we go back to the very beginning of the season, what they say they want to do? They just want to play. So, here's what you're going to do. You're going to honor that. Which means during the play, there will be very little directions and corrections, only anything that has to do with the competition you set up. So if I'm doing a grounder drill, teaching form fielding, right, and that's the skill we're teaching, now we're going to do a competition where we're going to do a drill and we're going to get them play and make it a competitive setting. And that's cool, okay? We're going to keep points. Whatever it is, it's competitive. Guess what? There's going to be winners and losers at practice. Yes, there is. And that's okay. High five, you get a chance in there. But I don't like it. Okay, then we got to get better. And that's part of what it is that they're not getting taught. Fair enough? So, talk, teach, play, 366, moving through. The next thing is that I want to talk to you about is what I use through the National Academy of Athletics, which is how you move kids and how you get their attention. All right, so get your hands ready. I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. When we want their attention on the baseball field, a lot of time what happens, everybody stand up for me if you will. Yeah, let's do it. All right, so when we're on the baseball field, a lot of times what's going to happen is that because it's slow, but they're going to do something, and all of a sudden they're going to bunch up instead of staying in position. But as soon as you say, okay, wait, everybody stop, this is what we're going to do, stop, sometimes is perceived to them as a negative word for whatever reason. And the other thing is that as soon as you say it, they're going to wander somewhere else. So you know what I do? We're doing a drill, and I go, freeze! And I literally go like this, and guess what they do? They giggle, and they freeze. Now I can say, wait a second, you're second base and you're shortstop, where are you supposed to be? And I let them self-correct. And they figure out, oh, right, just a couple more steps. There you go, good job, buddy. All right, so that's the first thing. Second thing, when I want their attention, is I ask for their eyes, and I'll say, eyes, I want you to clap twice. Ready? Eyes. Eyes. See, the first time I did it, 3 or 4 of you clapped. The second time I said eyes, almost everybody did. That's what I want, because then I've got your attention, and I've got your focus. Especially on the baseball field, they got their mitt. So eyes once, eyes twice. Great. Now the next thing is, like Pavlov's theory is, what's next? What do I get? What's my reward? Because I've listened, so you got to give me something. So then you have to give them relevant and pertinent information to help them to know. As an example, I want everybody on the baseline. So if I told all of you that I need you to get to the first baseline, it could take us 3 minutes. We don't have that much practice time. We're losing daylight. So what I do is called countdown. So I want everybody, you don't have to do this, I need everybody to get over to the first baseline. I know it's going to take you about 6 seconds, so I'm going to give you 9. But I'm going to say, I need everybody, remember? So we freeze, eyes once, eyes twice. All right, you got 9 seconds to get to the sideline. Let's go. First baseline, go. 9, 8, 7. Guess what they do? They start running. They're not sure why. They start running. By the way, there's no penalty if they're the last one there. 2, 1.5, 1. Good job. Eyes. Eyes. All right, here's the next drill. Now imagine if you could bring that energy to practice, where now we're in left field, and now we're at shortstop, and now we're at first base, and now we're there. You're going to be tired. But the kids are going to have fun, and they're going to want to keep playing baseball. Okay? So those are my tips that I'm going to recommend. So let's grab a seat, and let's talk about skills and drills. First of all, I went fast. I got 9 more minutes of time. I want to give you what you want. So, any questions about what I said, or we're good? Copacetic? Dialed in. How about here? Good?
Good, yeah.
And I'm not trying to put you on a spot. I just want to make sure that I'm giving you what you want. Okay. If there's questions, holler out. I got my magic National Academy Athletics bag and a glove. If you are working with kids that are new to the sport, I highly recommend that there's a difference between that, right, and the softball they were talking about, or tennis ball, right? Because when you wear one of these on your face, you're done. So we can't do that, okay? However, if this is the case, you can't just throw it at him and expect him to catch it. I had a feeling you were ready to go, but if you do that, you're setting yourself up for failure. This thing is the nemesis of baseball for most of these kids. You know why? Because it's like a divining rod. As soon as you start to play with it, they put it on their hand, you throw it. Here they go. And that's the exact opposite of what we want. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to show our hands together. So when we play catch, we throw it there, catch with 2 hands, and then we bring it close to our body. So when we teach catching the ball, which is one of the first skills, we're going to do that. By the way, I'm not going to teach catching. Go ahead and put your hands up. And I'm not going to do this. Because guess what they're going to do when they try to throw it back to me? The same thing. So you have to teach throwing the way that they're going to see it and do it. The way I teach throwing for the littles is I have them hold their elbow about 8 feet apart. You put your hands up, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw the ball and snap the wrist and point right to my target. Same thing. And that's it. And by the way, you say, ready?
Ready.
Throw it. They're learning the technique, okay? We're going to teach them how to hold the ball. We want them across the seams. I'm not throwing this. Good. Across the seams. 2, 3, little guys 4. Do not palm the ball. Okay? 2, 3, or 4 fingers across the seams. That's the grip. Get the thumb, opposing thumbs are there for a reason, right? Get them off the ball here, whatever it is, and then that's how they're going to throw it. I would say most of them are going to be 3 fingers on the ball. Get them throwing so they can see the rotation on the ball. And you can show them that just by doing this. Oh, that's how it's supposed to look, because we don't want knuckleballs. Throwing and catching. Because guess what? That's 70% of the game. Ball gets in play, we got to throw, we got to catch. Pretty simple, okay? Once they put the glove on, it's the same concept, because now we got the glove on, and the throw comes in, and what do? The same thing. Catch, bring close to their body. Catch, bring close to their body. Okay? So if you notice, I'm breaking it down pretty simple, but I think it's going to be very important because that's how you're going to elevate it up. Okay? Next, we talk about fielding grounders, right? One of the biggest challenges is that kids want to stand up or they want to cross the feet, right? Basketball, you got your sliding drill, same kind of concept. For these kids, we're going without a glove. And what I do is I say, okay, when I say 3, 2, 1, you yell ready. Now when you do that, you go 3, 2, 1, and they go ready, but they're not ready. So you have to teach them this is what it means. 3, 2, 1, they're going to put their palms on their legs and then turn their hands up. Because that is the baseball stance. They can't do this, that's not gonna work. But 3, 2, 1, ready! And if your kids can do that, then they're in ready position. If you watch Brandon Crawford, you watch the outfielders, when Pence used to do it, they have a routine. As the pitch comes in, step, step, ready. Pitch comes in, step. There's a routine that they do with their body. Sometimes it's left, right, sometimes it's right, left, whatever it is, but there's a routine. Teach the kids that, even the littles, because if they do this, they're ready. Because I don't know about you guys, but you know what's going to be happening? They're going to be out there, they're going to be picking clovers, and that ball's going to come fly at them. Right? So sometimes I will say, before the pitch, I say 3, 2, 1, not all the time, but every new batter for my defense and little kids, I'll go 3, 2, 1, and all my defenders will go, ready! And I'll know because I can see who's ready and I can hear it. Drives the other team nuts, by the way, but it's my way of engaging the kids. Fair enough? Once they get that and they pick up, then they learn how to make things happen. All right. This thing is a weapon. Be careful. If they ever have this in their hand, they have a helmet on their head. Automatic. I use cones. I recommend cones. Cone them off 6 feet, 6 foot squares. So when you're doing any kind of drill with a bat in their hand, practice swinging, they're in that 6 foot zone. One player, one bat, one helmet in that zone, so that they're swinging in that space where that's it, and they're not going to hit anybody else. Okay? What's your son's name or daughter?
Alex.
Alex. So when Alex is picking up a bat, I think you went and bought a bat, right?
Yep.
So you probably went down to the store and go, yep, this looks pretty good. It's got a good barrel. It's a drop one. Looks pretty good. Let's get this, right? Which is what most dads will do. And by the way, it's in price range, which is really cool, right? Because they can go up to $400, which is ridiculous, right? First of all, you better check with the league to find out, because I've seen a lot of those bats and they go, oh, that's a double wall, illegal. Wait, but I spent, yeah, doesn't matter what you spent, okay? So find out from the league what you guys are allowed to use. 2, the bat does not the player make, okay? It really doesn't, especially when they're little. When they become 13 or 14, then you want to kind of dig in. At this level, just get a basic bat out there. If you guys have a Play It Again Sports and they have the bats, go get them there. Not that I'm making a commercial for them, but you know, there's a lot of expense that goes into this as they go forward with things, okay?
Is there a Play It Again Sports in Marin?
No.
What are you talking about?
I know there's one over across the bay. I know there's one up in Sonoma County. I don't know if there's a Marin, but if you can find one or something like that, because it's a great way to do it. I wish I still had a bunch of my old equipment. I donated to a bunch of schools. Otherwise, I would help you guys out. Okay, next thing is, if you're not sure if the bat is the right size for your child, what you want to do is have them hold the bat straight out. If they can hold the bat straight out for 30 seconds, that bat's not too heavy for them. If they can't, the bat is too heavy for them. Because if they can't, and it starts doing this, for seconds, you know what that means? They can't do this, which is what you need them to do. Okay? All right. Next is hitting. You guys got some ideas on tips on hitting? 1, together. 2, depending on the size of the bat, depending on the size of the kid. There's nothing wrong with choking up. But don't get such a big, I'm going to get a bat that's going to be good for 3 years, so it's going to be big and all that. It's not going to work. It's going to be an issue. Okay? So, unfortunately, it would be nice if you could trade up, but that's what you want to do. Try to have them line their knuckles up. It's the easiest way to get them in a basic format. Tell them here, they want to have loose hands, but they don't want to choke it, okay? But they have to hold on to it, okay? Some kids are going to want batting gloves, whatever the case is. Most kids do. That's fine, okay? Next is where the bat goes. If you can tell them high hands, their hands should be equal to their back shoulder. Now again, you might be teaching kids that might be looking at, who knows, right? More like I did when I started. So what I'm telling you is they want to line up so that their bat is equal to their shoulder, high hands. Why? Because the idea in baseball is to swing down through to hit, down through to hit the ball. And remember, this is tough. They have to hit 1/8 of an inch on this to 1/8 of an inch on that, perfect, to get a hit. It's not an easy skill, right? So you're going to have to practice that and teach that. One thing that I use, and again, I'm not a sales rep for them. Have you guys ever seen these? Maybe, yeah. This is called a zip hit. And I'll just give you the gist of it. If we were in the gym, I would have had to demonstrate. You take this and you clip this to the fence, and then the other side comes to you. What happens is the ball will be with you, and you pull your arms apart, and the ball shoots down the line to them. And what's cool about it is, when they hit it, it comes right back to you, and you do it again. So you can get a lot of reps in with one of these. You guys get the gist of it, or I need to demonstrate? So it's just a string line. The ball starts here, and what you do is you hook it to the fence. Hook it low, below their waist, so the ball comes through the zone, and all you do is you just stand back and go like this, and the ball streams on down. And then they hit the ball, and the ball comes right up the line, and then you do it again. This is a great way to get a lot of reps in. Because I've seen baseball coaches, you want to lose a team, have 3 people waiting to bat, and have everybody waiting in the outfield as the kid tries to miss 7 pitches, and then we're done, right? So when you do that, there's several ways to save with that. One is to get a zip hit or some sort of thing you can use to do that. The other is going to be to, when you do the hitting drills, is to mix it up. I'm a tennis guy. I don't play tennis anymore, but I have a tennis racket in my baseball bag. Huh? Here's why. I was okay, but I cannot control if I'm trying to hit fly balls, that I can do that consistently. I can't control this to hit grounders consistently. But I'll tell you what, you give me a tennis racket and a baseball, I can put that sucker line drive, I can put it pop fly, I can put it ground ball. So, you may think I'm nuts, but remember, we're talking about reps. We're talking about what we can do, so that's my recommendation. Okay?
You could use a tennis racket to hit that ball without ruining your racket?
I'm not going to get a $120 racket. I'm going to go to Big Five and get the $9.99 version, or wherever it is. I don't care, and I beat it up. I got the same one I've used for 3 years. And again, you're not hitting that hard. The tennis racket's such a big surface, you can literally put it exactly where you want it to go. Okay? So my recommendation, you do what you want. It's just one of the tricks of the trade that works for me. Worked out pretty well. I was thinking of creating a patent on a baseball racket, which is basically a tennis racket that we call baseball racket for teaching, but who's got time? All right, enough about all this stuff. I've given you a lot of stuff. Whew, we've come to the end of the time together. My goal tonight was to give you guys some tips, some insights, some philosophy. I feel like I did a good job, right? But I don't know. What I found is that when each of you give one thing, it tends to add. So we're going to go through as quickly as we can and give you one tip, one thing you heard tonight, or one question you have. Go.
Bring energy and structure.
Like it. Go.
Getting the parents, players, and coaches all on one page.
Teach, pay, play, teach.
Talk, teach, play.
Teach, play.
Keep the order. Good.
Follow through on your promises, you're gonna give a reward, follow through on it.
Absolutely.
Well, I have a question. I fear that the person, if you're practicing, hitting, the other people in the field are just going to be so bored.
Right.
How do you keep them engaged in that minute when you're trying to get the person?
So you're going to stand here with the tennis racket
Yeah.
and a bucket of balls.
Yeah.
And that kid's going to get up and bat. And when they pitch the pitch in and they don't hit it, you're going to take them and you're going to hit the ball and your fielder is going to play baseball. And then we reset. Okay, let's go again. Boom. And you're going to get your drills in. You might even have base runners going while that's going on because you're moving a lot of parts together.
Right.
Because baseball, unfortunately, it's a slow sport. But if you make it slow, you're going to lose them.
Communicate with the parents.
Love it. Absolutely.
I have a question. What's the best way to find the right bat for each one of your players? Size matter. Is it still the crouch? When you walk up and it goes
To be honest with you, it's more weight,
Okay.
right? Where remember Bonds, man, he used a very light bat.
Yeah.
If you've seen him, I have one of his bat. He gave my son a bat. How cool is that sign? I've got one of them in my house, and I picked it up. It ain't that heavy. So think lighter than you think.
Like 17 ounce, 19 ounce?
Yeah. I mean, you can kind of pick your spot, but I would do a drop weight. But the main thing is take your son down and figure out that. You're going to probably have 3 bats in the dugout, and that's where it's going to be. Make sure the bats are always in their slots,
Right.
unless they're walking out to bat. Right? Does that help?
Yeah.
Don't worry about the length so much with it.
Okay.
Definitely not taller than.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah.
I was gonna say how to, engage the kids during practice.
Good. Like it.
Separating being a coach and a dad, you know what I mean?
Amen. Amen.
Direction and correction, kids still gotta be kids.
Yeah. Yeah, find that way, especially when you give them the play, man, let them play.
366 in the freeze.
Love it. Good, yeah.
How to catch without glove. Catching without the glove.
Yeah, yeah. Gotta start somewhere. Because you know what else happens is they have success, and that's what you want. Okay? At some point this season, you're gonna be put in a position where you're gonna be uncomfortable by a parent or a child, or the opposing coach. What I'm gonna ask you to do is remember this is Catholic Youth Organization Baseball, and ask yourself, WWJD, right? Pause and realize that it is not the end of the world, and remember that your child's athleticism or ability on the field is not a direct reflection of how good of a coach or parent you are. Give them unconditional love, and remember, above all, you are a role model, okay? If you want to reach me, National Cab Athletics, do so. Find us on Facebook, social media, whatever. Please, I love getting reviews on Google because it helps me as we go forward, whatever we can do. If you come up with a question during the season that you need answers to, I do travel quite a bit, but email me, I promise I will respond to you within 24 hours. Just give me time to catch my breath.
Are you in, this is your email info and?
That'll get, my assistant will get it to me. If you want, it's Aaron Locks at me.com. I don't normally do that, but this is a small enough group. AARONLOCKS at me.com. Right? So just send me an email, whatever you want, questions, thoughts, funny jokes, stories, whatever it is, share with me. I would love to get the feedback. And I hope you guys have an amazing season. And thank you, because you know what? You're not going to hear enough, but thank you for what you do. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, what I brought some of my Coach's Best Friend books. They normally put out on Amazon. I have about 5 of them. You can have them for $10 off. I just happened to bring some just in case. So if you want one, $10, you can have it. It's basically an entire program for coaching little kids baseball, whatever. So if you're interested, let me know. Thank you.